Sure.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Mercedes.
And our topic was, can memories be completely fabricated? And if so, can they be distinguished from real memories? So to start off, memory is imperfect. And so just keep in mind that everyone will experience false memories at some point or another. And these memories may form due to things like misperceiving information or just when other information interferes with the memory's creation, and then it's harder to retrieve that memory. And then there's certain groups of people that are more susceptible to fabricating false information. And some of these people are if you witnessed a crime, if you went through a traumatic event, or if you have OCD, or just as you age as an older person.
And then a false memory itself refers to the flaws in remembering and should not be mistaken for lies because they're not intentionally produced. And a term that's often used when studying false memories is fuzzy trace theory, which explains the formation of false memories based on the gist and the general meaning of the event, which makes connections that fuel false memories in the absence of having verbatim information. And then false memories are not just experienced within one person, but also in groups of people, and is referred to as the Mandela effect.
And then a factor that can lead to fabricating a false memory is inference. So for example, if you witness a bank robbery and you're questioned later and they say, was the robber wearing a red mask? You might say yes, and then be like, wait, they were actually wearing a black mask. And then in reality, they were not wearing a mask at all. But because the person questioning you asked if they were wearing a certain color mask, they suggested that, and that wasn't a fact.
And then one factor that can fuel false memory is time from the event. And it's been studied that your most accurate memories occur within the immediate time of the event, which is like a week or 2 weeks, rather than 3 or 4 months away is when you're more likely to experience a false memory.
And then another factor that can lead to this is your emotional stability. And so there's retrieval involved in remembering an event, obviously, and it could be hindered by your emotional state or your response to the event itself. So negative moods like depression could influence false memory more likely than positive emotions. And then having a more emotional response to the event that you witnessed may help you to remember it more, but then getting too emotional when asked about the event could hinder your remembrance.
And then a third factor that fuels false memories is imagination and suggestion. And the use of imagination makes an event seem more realistic and believable. And then a term that's often used when studying it is imagination inflation, which is a type of memory distortion caused by an increased tendency to remember an action seen or heard when it was only imagined. And then this is also fueled by suggestion, which is caused by, like in the example of the bank robber, if you remember the event the first time and you know that the robber wasn't wearing a mask, but then somebody else that experienced that they were wearing one, you're more likely to include that in your memories as well.
And then some recommendations for how to not fabricate false memories is just trying not to get misled by other people with misinformation. So just having your guard up and not walking around being susceptible to lies. And then looking for outside evidence rather than just a singular witness testimony, because it's hard to rely on a singular person when they could be making up false memories. And then not spreading information before you're sure that it's 100% correct.
And then a final way is to just believe that your memories that you first had around the event are your most accurate ones. And so trusting and basing your future memories based off of that one will reduce the likelihood that you'll form a false memory. Thank you.
That's all.